This is the MBA Wire, episode 25. If I can have a superpower, what would that be? That's an easy one. It would definitely be time control. You know, go back, forward, pause time. That would be awesome. Awesome. I can get so much work done. Let's hit it.
Inspirational MBA talk with successful alumni to motivate you during your application run. We go behind the scenes of every story, talk business, and show you why it's worthwhile to never give up on your MBA dream. And now, here's your host with the most, Mateo Chang.
All right, what's happening, citizens of the Wire? Welcome back to another episode of the MBA Wire. Today I am here at INSEAD in Fontainebleau. Fontainebleau.
Fontainebleau.
Try that again.
Fontainebleau.
Fontainebleau. Yeah. Okay, I'm not getting it right, but I'm sitting here with 5 current students at INSEAD who have generously granted us their time to provide their stories on how they got through the application process and the things that they've been doing here at the school. Why don't we go around and just start introducing everyone? Mathieu.
So my name is Mathieu Poitrimolt. I'm originally from France. Have been living in Montreal for the past 8 years though, so still between France and Canada. And before coming here to INSEAD, where I studied in January, I was working as a management consultant.
Hi, my name is Sherry Kuo. I'm American, originally from California, but spent most of my time in New York. Before coming to INSEAD, I was a management consultant and worked briefly also in the technology startup scene.
Hi, my name is Patrick Pangan. I'm also from the U.S. I spent the past 5 years working in D.C., although I'm originally from New Jersey. I started out working in the U.S. Senate before moving on to the Treasury Department and an Office of the Federal Reserve.
Hi, I'm Donna Egan, and I am also American. For the last 5 years, I was living in California. Prior to that, in New York, working for the same investment management company for the last 7 years. And now we are here at INSEAD, having just started in January.
My name is Drew Himber. I'm from Southern California. I previously was working for one of the Big 4 financial services firms, doing mostly investment banking and a bit of consulting for the pharmaceutical and medical device industry.
All right, fantastic. So we have 4 Americans and a Frenchman. Do you feel how do you say, outnumbered here?
I mean, maybe here in this group, but I wouldn't say that I feel outnumbered here at INSEAD. No, because I don't know, it's pretty much the opposite. Like, people coming from everywhere, different countries. So I would say that there's usually a higher diversity than this group here. So
I think they gave us the figure was like 60 nationalities are represented in our class.
At
alone.
least.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
So
yeah.
no one feels really outnumbered.
No, that's yeah.
There's no such thing as outnumbered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just kind of trying to bug him. How does that happen, though? 4 Americans coming to INSEAD. Like, how was this school chosen for you guys? And also, I would like to know on your French person's point of view, INSEAD, why was it your choice of school? So, I mean, I'll go around again here.
For me, I had studied in Paris during undergrad, and I really enjoyed my experience. And it was a personal goal for me to come back to either live or work for a longer period of time. And I knew I wanted to pursue graduate studies and get my MBA, and this was one of the best schools in the world, if not the best. So just so happens that I found myself here.
Oh, you found yourself here. Very nice, very nice. How about you?
So like I said, I was in Canada before, so not here in France when I chose to come here at INSEAD. And same, like for me, it was a good opportunity to come back in Europe. And yeah, it was something different going back here between Europe and Asia. I was very happy to go to this top school in my own country as well.
So what was one of the criterion that you used to find INSEAD?
So of course the ranking is a starting point that is important, but then I think more of the reputation, what I learned about the school mostly through alumni, I would say. So speaking with colleagues, alum from INSEAD, that was the most important criteria, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, right on. All right, 3 more Americans. So your point of views of how you guys chose INSEAD?
So I actually knew I was going to come to INSEAD, and I only wanted to be at INSEAD because I had a mentor who was an alumni. So for me, the choice wasn't really any there was no thought behind it except that I knew that's what I wanted to be. I'm also a dual degree student, so I was working on my master's at Johns Hopkins prior to this, and they have a partnership with INSEAD, so it just seemed like the best of both worlds. And I also knew that I wanted to work in Europe upon graduation.
Oh, okay. So it was already, basically, no math required there. You already wanted to make the transition to working here. Nice. How about you, Drew?
So for me, I had gone to an undergraduate business school in the U.S., so I felt like I really had a good grasp of even what U.S. graduate business schools are like. They're just more of an amplification of what I'd already been studying and learning. And you hear so often about what the international or globalization and what the world has to offer. And I figured if I really wanted to understand what that meant, I needed to go study with everyone else from the rest of the world. And I figured that INSEAD, given the amount of diversity that it actually has, would provide not only some of the most capable people and capable leaders from around the world, but would really bring a perspective that would show me and highlight a lot of the things and the issues that were going on that would prepare me to be a better business leader internationally. Ultimately as well, you tend to find slightly older students at INSEAD, so I think there's a maturity in the experience that they've had and the types of even life experience that they've had that really contribute a lot to classroom discussions that you don't find at other institutions throughout the world.
Nice. What's the average age here?
It's about 29, going on 30.
Wow, so you call them older students. I feel old now. I feel old now.
Compared to U.S. business schools, it is definitely older students.
Really?
So.
All right, good. I feel old now, but it's all good. How about you, Donna?
Well, for me, similar to Drew, I had my undergrad. I'd grown up in the New York area, New Jersey area, and had gotten my undergrad degree also in the U.S. And so I had always played with this concept of becoming more of a global citizen, and really one of the best ways to do that is to just throw yourself into an international program. And so I chose the most international program out there to try and make that transition to go experience Europe for half a year and then move on to Asia for the second half of the year, and really transition my career also over to Asia. So that was really the catalyst.
Okay, all right, nice. So once you guys have chosen the school, I mean, you guys have went through the application process. What was the most difficult part of it for each of you? I'm sure there were many difficulties, but if you can think of one or two key points, those moments when you were like, "That's it. I'm gonna throw in the towel." What were those moments?
For me, I think for INSEAD, it was rather simple for me. It's I think nearly 7 essays now to actually apply to INSEAD. So it's not something where you just hand in a CV and a GMAT score and hope that you've worked for a good enough company to actually get in. But you have to literally show not only your international experience or international desire to be a part of an international community, but you have to display everything that you've really done from a personal, professional, and social capacity through your writing. And I think it's really difficult to write so many essays that actually identify your strengths, your weaknesses, your growth opportunities, and ultimately what you can give and become a part of as the INSEAD alumni community. And really having to put all of that together to create a picture of yourself that someone evaluates for admission and evaluates, almost, I would say, even more heavily than just your GMAT score, really puts a lot of pressure on you to put together the best perspective possible. And the amount of time it takes to frame all of that is exhausting.
So how did you overcome that? Like, what kind of mentality did you have to take on?
I think just honestly sitting next to these people here, it's exactly why I could overcome it, because I knew what was at the end of it. I knew I'd be sitting here next to this caliber of individuals, the opportunities to work in Europe, Asia, Africa, or even back in the States. And I think if you're able to focus on the end and not just the suffering in the process, you realize that it's actually ultimately worth it. And you can't understand how good INSEAD or how good business school is until you're there. And you can dream about it, you can talk about it, but until you experience it, you can't really understand how much it can actually change your life.
For me, like Sherry, I was really focused on INSEAD, so it's the only school I applied to, and it's really where I wanted to be. And like Drew just mentioned, I think that if you focus on your goal and what you expect and what the year is going to be next year, it's really worth the effort and what it takes to actually apply. So I think what was the most complicated thing for me working as a consultant at the same time was to manage time, to be able to work on the GMAT, on the essays and everything at the same time as maintaining good performance at work. So I think that's the real challenge, but waking up a little early in the morning, working on weekend is definitely worth it.
So you went all in. It was just INSEAD, or it was INSEAD or bust?
Exactly.
Sherry too. Is everyone else was? I mean, did you guys apply to a few other schools just to? You applied to two.
I applied to LBS and INSEAD.
LBS, yeah, both international schools.
Both international schools.
Which one is more international in your opinion?
It's not an opinion, it's a fact.
There's
no
opinion.
Statistics.
You can't argue with numbers.
Oh, okay. So INSEAD is the most international.
It is.
Hands
It's written
down,
under the name, I think.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that's good. That's good. Did you apply to more than one, or was it just INSEAD
I
as well?
applied to both American and European programs.
And what made you choose INSEAD? I mean, like, why was it here?
I think, well, circumstance. This is where I was shown the door, to put it lightly. I made the choice to apply to an international program, knowing that I wanted my career to have an international network and an international scope. For me, it's particularly I wanted to be in Europe as well.
All right. What was the hardest part of your application process?
So I think in general, it's not just INSEAD, but for business schools right now, like, you really have to be able to articulate what it is you want to do after, even if that idea isn't fully baked yet in your mind. I felt like the application process forced you to do a lot of soul searching and become really self-aware of what it is that you want to do, either career-wise or just personal goal-wise.
Mm-hmm. Self-reflection, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, deep soul searching. Did you find yourself?
Partially. And the other part is hopefully going to come during this year.
It's in the process,
Yeah.
right? Just a quick pause here. I know you have to go. If you need to, yeah. Okay, cool. Still here. How about you, girls? What was the difficult part of this application process into INSEAD?
So I think for me, I had actually a concern that I would not have had enough work experience. So the average INSEAD student is a little bit older. I only had 2.5 years of work experience. So it was really about figuring out, how could I demonstrate what my value add would be? What could I bring to a diverse community where people have the breadth of experience, and just having that confidence to be able to articulate that clearly after thinking about exactly what that value add is and what my proposition for being, a contributor in this environment would be.
So for me, I would second a lot of what Matthew said. Basically, time management when you do have a full-time job, and it feels like this application process is an additional full-time job. Mm-hmm. And so you have to really allocate your time. And for me, I knew where I would struggle the most would be the GMAT exam. And so I knew I had to allocate more time there. But then I didn't really allocate the amount of frustration that went into preparing for the GMAT exam and not seeing results immediately. And so I had to take the exam a second time when I wasn't really anticipating that I would have to. But it was worth it, and just staying committed to it, because once you're here at this program or any program that you end up attending, it is an amazing experience. So completely worth it.
All right, so we're all in agreement that the difficulties and the hardships that you endured throughout the application process ended up being worth it once you were accepted and you came in. How was that like once you were accepted into the school? How did you guys feel?
Hallelujah.
Relief.
Good relief.
Yeah.
I can actually perform again at work and not get fired, and all of
it was a great day. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
have
it was
to
fantastic.
apply next year.
Yeah, that was the first thought in your mind.
Yeah, because this was at the end of a string of no's, so yes.
Yeah.
I was happy I wouldn't have to bother my recommenders again to ask to write another letter. I wouldn't have to write new essays, it's a huge sense of relief.
Yeah.
But I think, but for me though, I'll also say it's fear, because I left a job that I absolutely really did love, and I left it though knowing that I needed to be open to not necessarily coming back. So I didn't sign any sponsorship agreement or anything like that. So I think at the same time, it was hard. This is the job, the only job I've ever had. I've been committed to for years and years. So I felt to some extent that I'm walking away from just really good friends, really good experiences. I've loved the work that I've done. So to some extent, there was almost this apprehension and this fear of leaving, what's been such a big part of my life, 80% of my time, give or take, and now moving halfway across the world to a little town in the middle of the forest, not far from Paris, luckily. But I think there was still that kind of fear of like, wow, okay, now this is really happening. And now, now what do I have to do? I have to arrange financing. I have to get visas. It was just another kind of step. But just the realization of this actually happening was, as they said, it's the initial relief for me. But then also this, wow, this is going to be a huge change. So.
Yeah. There's an initial weight off your shoulders, but then you realize you still have to carry and pull the weight, all the way through. Right. Well, so now you guys have been here 3 months for a few of you. How long have you been here, Matthew?
Yeah, same. Right,
3 months as well. Yeah. Everyone together.
So you guys. I've been here.
You've been here the longest?
Yeah. What? 7 months.
7 months.
Yeah.
All right, Drew. What have been the highlights so far then? I mean, what has really stood out for you guys here at INSEAD?
I can answer that. So I came here with the intention of transitioning to finance. I knew that's, where I was going to set my sights. And I feel like, having only been here for 3 months, INSEAD really delivered on what I thought I signed up for. So I wanted to do investment banking, and, they had the recruiting process. It sort of was, ready, set, go the second we got on campus. But, I was able to really validate, my idea of what it was, and then go through the process, secure an internship, and I feel like on that level I am ecstatic that I feel like I recognized and realized something that I ultimately set out to do.
And I'll follow on. For me, the experience has been really incredible in terms of the people that we've met, or that I've met so far, both in our class, all of my roommates, I've already made friends just in 3 months that I can see being friends for years after the program. And they're, funny enough, although we are all good friends here, like some new friends that I've met are from South Africa, from Australia, from Norway, from all over the world. And to me, that's exactly why I came here, is to be
Brazil.
exposed. And Brazil. Brazilians are pretty cool in our school.
They never arrive on time, but they're great.
We have to.
But
They think they arrive on time.
They think they arrive on time, exactly.
It's a cultural thing. In Brazil, it's normal to be fashionably late, to anything, job interview, you're never going to get there on time. It's weird.
I'd say the one thing I would add, though, too, that I think is somewhat unique about going to INSEAD and being in the center of Europe is people travel here religiously. And almost every weekend without fail, students are going somewhere. And even myself, who, I have a wife and kids, but by the time we leave INSEAD, we will have done France, Switzerland, Germany, Spain, Croatia, Greece, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Turkey. So I just think about the opportunities you have once you're here to not only be a part of the world in terms of the student body, but to see the world and actually experience all the types of things, understand the political issues, the social issues firsthand of everything you learn about in the classroom. There's no other setting that's going to provide that kind of both social and internal reflection and everything that you'd hope to become a better person and a better member of society by the time you leave. And I think you're just so perfectly positioned here to be a part of that I don't know how that you can have anything else than a life-changing experience.
Wow, that was deep. That actually, really reminded me of that Disneyland ride. It's a Small World. You walk in and then you have
on it last weekend.
You have all this
so.
all this diversity, and then you come out feeling a lot better about everything. That's nice, though. I mean, I'm really reducing it, but that was very deep.
It's true, though. No.
Well, guys, I really want to thank you so much for your time. I know time is precious. We're actually really running out of time. I know a few of you have to go. Matthew is going to Paris.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm learning a little bit of French. Yeah.
The experience.
Thanks so much. Could you guys leave a final piece of advice for the students who are applying today? So it's just some brief. It can be a motto. It can be, I don't know, a cheer. It's up to you guys.
Know your story. Know why you're going to apply to business school. Have an idea what you want to do.
All right. Thank you, Patrick.
Something very practical, but reach out for help. Don't hesitate to talk to alumni and just, talk about it with other people. That's going to really help you putting things in perspective and know what you're doing it for, and just believe in yourself and just do it. And it's really worth it in the end.
All right, Matthew. Merci.
I think I know you mentioned funding is a concern for a lot of people. I think applying early is very important, and if you're looking to secure a scholarship, definitely apply early.
Stay committed to the process. It's a painful process, but don't get discouraged, because on the other end, it is completely worth it.
All right, nice. Drew?
Listen to the MBA Wire. No, just kidding.
Hey, that's a good idea.
No, I think that the one thing for me is there's so much information out there on what you should do, what you should say, how you should apply. I'm saying this to people, to yourself who's here at a graduate conference for people that do this for a living. But I think you can get so consumed in just reading every website and every article and every piece of advice. At the end of the day, you have to stay true to yourself. And if you try to represent yourself in a way that you think is tailored because a website tells you, or just because you saw some article, I think you'll end up failing, and you'll never be able to represent yourself to the way that a school would hopefully accept you for the person that you're trying to become and the person that you are. So I think you really need to stay authentic throughout the entire process, despite the ability of trying to conform with what you think a school or someone else really wants you to be.
All right, be honest, be genuine. Yeah, very nice. Thank you guys again so much for this, for all these insights and for helping motivate our students here. Just to let you know, I got an email yesterday from a student over in Germany who applied to UCLA and got in, but he had thanked me because he was about to give up and he heard the MBA Wire. So in a sense, your first piece of advice, it was actually pretty cool. I almost cried last night because this is why I do what I do. So anyway, citizens of the MBA Wire, thanks again for listening in. This is Mateo Chang signing off.
Thanks for tuning into the MBA Wire. Would you like to know more? Visit us online at thembawire.com today and leave your questions and feedback. While you're there, sign up for an exclusive free audio series to help you strengthen your MBA interview. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on the MBA Wire.